When the Gazette was published, the Black Business Council expressed outrage. And now that the exemption has been withdrawn, let's again speak to BBC President Kganki Matabane. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Just your reaction to the withdrawal of that exemption for now.
Good afternoon. Good day, Nzinga and the viewers. I'm not the president, I'm the CEO of the BBC. And we welcome the decision by the minister, and in our view, it should not have happened. So it should not have happened in the first place, because we think the Minister of Finance, as the guardian and the person who's supposed to be looking after our purse as the nation, should be the one who actually encourages openness, encourages accountability, encourages disclosure, and encourages transparency. Mm-hmm. So we are happy that at the end of the day he realized that those are the cornerstone of a constitutional democracy like South Africa is. So we welcome that, but again, we think, in our view, that the minister, because he's responsible for the PFMA, I think he has dealt a serious blow to the anti-transformation stand that the government has taken.
Mm-hmm. Let me quote Treasury here. They're saying, by allowing Eskom to report on irregular and fruitless and wasteful expenditure in its annual report and not in its financial statements, National Treasury ensures that reporting transparency and accountability is not compromised and still made public as currently required. So then what was the issue when it came to that for you as BBC? And are you happy that there's been a withdrawal now, or do you still want to continue with the plans that you had said you want to meet with the Deputy President, you want to meet with the Finance Minister?
Yes, we're still going to pursue the meetings with both the Deputy President and the Minister of Finance. And the issue for us is that if this exemption was going to be given to Eskom, all these other SOCs are going to require the same things. The municipalities will require the same thing. Mm-hmm. And from there, where do you stop? Because the issue is, if, for example, you are not happy with any law in South Africa, you've got the right to go to Parliament and change the law. If you are not happy with the fact that, for example, on the freeway you must drive 120, you don't go and make an exemption. You rather change the law and say, no, everyone must drive 130 or 120 or 130 or whatever the law becomes at that time. Because once you start abusing the exemptions and giving anyone willy-nilly those exemptions, you are creating chaos in the environment, and you are creating the very same the very same confusion to the investors. Mm-hmm. Because the investors will also think you are hiding something. Why are you saying you are disclosing it in one side, but the other side you are not disclosing? What are you hiding? Yeah. So it's important that as learning from what happens in the Zondo Commission and others, the country should be seen, especially the Minister of Finance, should be seen as that minister that encourages everyone to make sure that everyone is accountable and there's transparency. Mm-hmm.
I mean, when National Treasury had initially put out a statement on this, they had spoken about mitigating the risk that would arise if these transactions were reported in the annual financial statements. They also said the exemption gave Eskom time to comply with the new reporting requirements on irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. So that was their rationale. And you've talked about this a little bit, but explore more the optics around this kind of exemption and then a withdrawal for now, and what it says about South Africa's actual commitment to good governance, to transparency going forward, and whether this is at risk with an issue like this.
Yeah, it's a serious risk, because remember, we've just been grey-listed for similar things of not disclosing. So yeah, the timing was also not right. So I think the minister was not properly advised. But maybe let me go back to the issue of Eskom and the adverse opinion. So the Eskom, like all the SOCs, get audited. And for example, when you have a company like Eskom or any SOC, and you are saying you are found to have incurred irregular expenditure, wasteful expenditure, and fruitless expenditure. Instead of lowering the standard and say, we're not going to disclose them here, we're going to disclose them here, the duty of the minister was supposed to be focusing on making sure that those expenditure are not incurred in the first place. Because it looks like you are trying to hide something, but that something was not supposed to be there if the people who are employed there were doing their job properly. So hence it sounds like you are trying to hide accountability. You are hiding something so that people are not going to be found wanting. So hence we were saying it also applied when the rater was there. It looked like they were trying to protect the rater from accounting on his lack of compliance. So it just did not look very, very good, because you don't lower the standards because you are trying to protect certain institutions. You rather get them to get their house in order. That's what the minister was supposed to be doing.
Okay, Kganki Matabane, Black Business Council CEO, joining us there, just reacting to the withdrawal of that exemption by Treasury and the Finance Minister. We will keep on following that story and keeping you updated.